Good evening. I'm Melody. You're listening to Soft Talk with Ivory Road, the Creativity Companion, Chapter 4, The Ache to Create. There's a kind of ache that never fully leaves you, the quiet pull to make something that didn't exist before. You feel it in still moments when the noise of the day fades and your heart starts to hum with possibility. It's not restlessness exactly. It's something holier, something older. The ache to create is the echo of Eden, the longing to join God in the work of forming beauty from dust. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. The ache comes when you sense that there is more within you than what your hands have yet expressed. It's a longing for alignment, for what's inside to finally find its way out. You might not have words for it, only a pressure that both feels like weight and wonder. That's how divine desire often feels. God's call to create doesn't shout, it stirs. It begins as yearning. Most people try to silence that ache. We fill our days with tasks, screens, and endless lists, so we don't have to face the quiet pull of what our hearts were made for. But creation begins in discomfort. The Spirit moves in that tension, shaping us like clay under pressure. What feels like unease is often invitation. The ache isn't punishment, it's proof of purpose. When you feel it, don't rush to solve it. Let it breathe. Sit in it for a while. The ache is the holy space between vision and reality, where God invites you to trust what you can't yet see. In those in-between places, patience becomes worship. You learn that creation is less about producing something quickly and more about becoming someone deeply attuned to the Creator. Maybe you felt this ache in 100 small ways. A melody that won't stop playing in your mind, a sentence you keep rewriting, a project you dream about while doing the dishes. You think, maybe someday. But the ache persists. Not to nag you, but to nurture you. God plants longing in us as a seed that keeps us leaning forward toward His light. There are times when the ache feels heavy, almost painful. You want to birth something new, but life keeps interrupting. The pace of the world rarely matches the rhythm of the Spirit. Yet that gap between desire and fulfillment has always been the birthplace of faith. Remember the prophets who waited, the poets who wept, the builders who worked by torchlight, not knowing when dawn would come. They too carried the ache. Creation requires courage because it means reaching into unseen things. It means believing that what you sense within you is worth bringing into the light. That belief is an act of trust. Trust that the God who gave the desire will also give the timing and the strength to see it through. You are not designed to carry the ache alone. It's a shared burden between Creator and creation. Sometimes the ache reveals our limits. We reach for something higher than we can grasp, and in the stretching we discover how dependent we are. That humility is sacred. The ache humbles before it heals. It reminds us that every masterpiece is first a surrender. You offer what little you have, and God breathes on it until it lives. There will be days when the ache feels like absence. You'll sit before the page or the canvas or the prayer and wonder if you've lost it, if the well has gone dry. But absence can be a teacher too. God sometimes hides so that we will seek, not because He has gone far, but because He wants us to notice the hunger. Desire deepens love. The ache keeps us coming back. Pause for a moment. Let your shoulders drop. Take a slow breath. Feel that small ache behind your ribs, that flutter of wanting to make or sing or write or fix or give. That's not ambition, that's communion. It's God reminding you that you and He share the same creative DNA. When you respond to that impulse, you are not just expressing yourself, you're participating in divine rhythm. To create is to agree with God that beauty still matters. It's to stand in a world full of noise and dare to add something true. The ache pulls you toward that agreement. It reminds you that you are never meant to live numbed. Even pain can become paint, and longing can become lyric. The Creator wastes nothing, not even your ache. When you begin to see the ache as holy, it stops feeling like frustration and starts feeling like prayer. You realize that longing is a form of worship, that restlessness can become reverence. God often meets you not after the work is finished, but right there in the ache before it begins. The waiting is not wasted. It's where intimacy grows. So what do you do with this ache? You honor it. You hold it gently, the way you'd hold a fragile flame. You let it guide you to the next faithful step, a sketch, a word, a small act of courage. You trust that what feels unfinished is not failing, it's forming. You show up. You stay near the fire, even when you can't see what it's becoming. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop trying to escape the ache and start learning to walk with it. The longing itself becomes the path. It keeps your heart alive, tender, awake. It keeps you listening for God's whisper in ordinary days. The ache to create is not the enemy of contentment. It's the evidence of divine calling. And one day, that ache will overflow. What you've been carrying will find its voice. The desire that once felt like restlessness will become rhythm. The space between who you are and what you're called to make will close, and you'll realize it was never wasted time. It was preparation. God was shaping you even as He prepared the work. Let yourself feel it. Don't numb or rush past it. The ache to create is holy ground. Stand barefoot there and listen. The God who placed that desire within you has not forgotten. He is still speaking, still shaping, and still calling your heart to rise and make something beautiful with Him. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. The ache is the desire, and the desire is the beginning of delight. Soft Talk by Ivory Road. Breathe deep. The light is still becoming.